Okay, everyone, I would like to welcome all of you officially to this webinar organized in collaboration with New Era Consulting, and Shveta Kukreja is a certified project management professional since 2013, and she has extensive hands-on experience in planning, training, and executing projects from her tenure head of client experience and project management at Standard Chartered Bank, Bangkok, Thailand. And she's also the founder of New Era Consulting. And most of all, she's an amazing human being. She's kind, generous, courageous, and compassionate. And it is truly our honor to have you today, Shweta, and learn from you. So I'm going to hand it over to you from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Good evening, everyone, and good afternoon and good morning for people who are tuning in from different parts of the world. I just want to say a big thank you to Fernando, who is the founder of Ignite Global, for hosting this webinar and allowing me to use this platform to share the knowledge that I have. And thank you everyone else for joining in today. Very grateful for your time and presence here tonight. And P.S. Fernando is the best coach you can find in Thailand for sure. And I'm sure he'll be one of the best in the world very soon. So let's get started without wasting any time. Just a little bit of highlight that I am not a LinkedIn expert, and I am only sharing what I will show you screenshots of my profile, what I have done in the past 3 months. And at some points, if the systems don't fail me, I will also show you some live screens. That is, while we're at the workshop. And once again, I am not a LinkedIn guru. I am actually a project management professional. And over the past few months, I have used LinkedIn to help me find clients. And I hope to share that, share that knowledge on to all of you here. So very quickly, the session will be broken down into 3 parts, and we will do a quick interaction or question and answers at the end of every part, which will last about 3 to 5 minutes. And then also please note that at the end of the workshop, I will share a little bit of a handbook, so you don't have to go around making notes. And also the session is recorded. So please just listen, enjoy, understand, and please ask questions. Let's get started. So why LinkedIn? If anyone can just quickly put in the chat box of how many LinkedIn users they think there are in the world. Very quickly, at a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Any takers? All right. The answer is there are 675 million people who are on the LinkedIn platform. Next question, how many of them are active LinkedIn users? At the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Any numbers? Well, 310 million. We do have some people who are very close. So there are 310 million people active on LinkedIn as of today. And we want to be a part of that 310 million people, right? And that's why we are here. And we want to be able to use this most effectively. So, as I mentioned, I will break down the session into 3 parts. So the 3 top tips. Let's get straight into it. Number 1, we're going to talk about understanding your target audience. Okay, why it's important. Number 2, how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. And number 3, content is king and engagement is queen. We'll talk more about that. So that's the 3 parts that we're going to get into. All right, so let's get started. Number 1, understanding your target audience. What is the objective? What is the objective of you having a business? Or what is the objective of your business on LinkedIn? Does anyone want to share that on the screen? Or in the chat box, I mean? Why are you on LinkedIn?
Shweta, do you see
we have a visibility.
You see
Yeah, I do.
You see the inbox. Okay, perfect.
I go visibility, personal branding, networking, fantastic. Okay, so the objective. Yes, networking is true. That's the process. The objective, what we really want to achieve is number one, we want to generate leads from LinkedIn for our business. Number two, we want to build a personal brand. Or number three, we want to get a new job, right? Since we are talking to coaches and consultants over here, I'm not sure if any one of us are looking for a new job, but I'll just quickly brush by it when we get there. So, understanding the target audience for generating leads from LinkedIn, you have to be able to answer who do you help and what do you help them achieve and how do you do that? Does anyone want to share a quick example of their business? Who do you help? What kind of business do you do and who are you? What do you do? While you're typing, I'll share with you about myself. So I am a project management consultant, okay? And who do I help? I help companies or corporates. What do I help them achieve? I help the corporates achieve better processes for process improvement. And how do I do that? I use the tools from my project management or from my process improvement and apply them so that I can help my corporates, my clients achieve their goals, right? So that's a very simple and very straightforward example. Next one, for personal brand. You have to be able to tell who you are. So if you are saying that, if I'm saying I'm a project management consultant, it is very broad. I need to be able to narrow it down to tell you that, okay, I am a project management consultant, but what are my specifications and who can benefit from me, right? That's how you can build your personal brand. Over here, you're not generating any leads, so you don't have to, go around telling that who are your clients and how you can help them. But you have to be able to offer something, okay? The third one is to getting a new job from LinkedIn. So once again, you have to be able to answer, what do you do? What are the dream companies you want as your job? And who in that company can help you get a job or an internship, right? And no example for this one. So very quickly, to capture all of that, you need to understand who your target audience is. Does anyone have any questions about your objective and who your target audience is? You want to quickly put that in the chat box? No? All right, we move on then. Oh, fantastic. Okay, Jigger, I see users of services. I don't quite get what that means. Anyways, let's move on and then we'll come back to this. We'll have an open round of communication at the end of this section. Okay, now having said that, once you define your target audience, the first thing that you need to do, this is your tip number one for today. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is to clean up your LinkedIn profile. All right, you have to go back and look at your LinkedIn profile, look at who your connections are, analyze them, and you have to be able to justify them. You have to be able to justify it to yourself to see that, do they fall into your target audience category or not? So step one, what we did was we defined our target audience. Now what you got to do is you got to go back and see the connections that you have, if they are your target audience, yes or no. If they are not a part of your target audience, please remove them from your contact list. Now, the reason for doing this is very simple. So in LinkedIn and all other social media platforms, there's an algorithm that takes place, right? So if in your contact sphere on LinkedIn, you have 1,000 contacts, right? And then you put a post on LinkedIn. And then you have a couple of people come and like your post, you have a couple of people come and comment on your post. So say, for example, you combine your likes and your comments, and you have about 10 of them, say 5 likes and say 5 comments. So LinkedIn understands that the engagement on your post is only 10 out of 1,000, which is not even, it's just 1%, right? So when it's just 1%, what the algorithm does is pushes your post right down to the bottom, and it does not come on top of other people's news feeds. And if it does not come up on other people's news feeds, then there is really no point in posting that content up there, right? So that's why you need to go back and actually have only your target audience in your contact sphere, because that is where you will get true engagement, and they're your true tribe, they're your true fan following, and they're the ones that you want to work with. Because there is really is no point, if like the example that I've put here, that if your target audience is supposed to be startup founders and you have all the software developers sitting in your contact sphere, the kind of content or the kind of post you put up on your profile or in your content, the software developers will not understand what you're trying to say. So basically, you're just talking to the wrong crowd, right? That's the tip number one, is please clean up your LinkedIn profile. I know it sounds funny, but it works. And the pro tip is connect only and only with your target audience. Now, getting on to the next part, how do you find your target audience? It's very simple. Go to your LinkedIn, look, search in the, put the name in the search box, and that's it. So for example, let me show you my screen for ease. Here you go. Can you see my screen? Right? So here, what you got to search over here is, say you're looking for a project management consultant, right? There you go. If this is my target audience, all the project management consultants will show up over here. And these are the people who I want to engage with, if this is my target audience. If my target audience, say for example, is, I would say, ICF certified coach. That's what I want, right? So I just type in the search box, ICF certified coach. And all the people who are ICF certified coaches will show up over here. And then I have to just go ahead and connect with them. Okay? It's very easy and very simple to share, to look for your target audience. Right? Now, when you make a connection, right? When you send out a connection request, please send a customized note. It just makes the person feel important. And this is how you build the relationship, because as somebody mentioned earlier, that you are on LinkedIn because you're here for networking. So you just don't go around distributing your business cards to everyone. You want to have a chat with them. You want to send them a customized note. You want to personalize it. How you personalize it is up to you. You can do it in terms of finding something in common, have a look at their profile to see that what you have in common, or what you can help them with, or what they can help you with, and personalize. Another thing is that in LinkedIn, please send out only 20 to 30 invitations a day, and don't go crazy berserk sending about 100 invites per day, because then LinkedIn will think that you're a robot and may block your account. Okay? And it is important. Please know that it is important to find the right mix. So when you are looking for a target audience, you do want a right mix of people. You don't want only certified coaches, or you want, for me, I'm a project management consultant. My target audience is corporates. And every once in a while, when I do a project, I do want to have a buddy to work with. So I work with fellow project management consultants. So that's a part of my, that would be a part of my target audience, as well as my corporate clients who I will look for on LinkedIn. And the real mix that I'm talking about, there really is no real rule. So you got to keep experimenting and keep mixing things around. And you always have the option of sort of unconnecting with people, right? You have the option of removing their connection. So, and we come to end of section 1. Do we have any questions? You can please feel free to unmute yourself, and we can open up for discussion for the next 3 to 5 minutes before we move on to the next section.
Shveta, this
Any
is
questions?
Aniruddha Kulkarni. Shveta, this is
Yeah.
Aniruddha from Pune, India.
Yes.
I heard you saying about algorithm.
Yeah.
Me being an HR professional, probably I may not understand what that exactly means. How does it work? So would you be able to throw some light on that?
Yeah, sure. So everything on the internet, not just social media, not just LinkedIn, everything on the internet has some kind of algorithms, right? So for example, I would like to compare it with like the SEO of for the websites. So you know when you search for someone, why is it that let me show it to you as an example. Why is it that something is on top of the screen and not why is that why is a certain post on top of the screen? So for example, I go to my page here, right? And on the newest posts, why is EA Rise Consulting's message or their post the first post on my screen, right? It's because this is a part of my target audience and I do engage with them. So the algorithm basically means that the string of how do I put it? I'm not a coding person, I'm not a programmer. But algorithms basically mean that why something is on top of the other. And there's a whole way of calculation behind the scenes that happen. I hope I've answered your question. Does anyone have any other questions?
Hi there. Just a quick point. My name is Chaz from the UK.
Yes.
So,
Hi, Chad.
hi. I think one of the points you mentioned earlier was to do with active members. As you mentioned, I think you showed some activity, some stats on how many LinkedIn members are active. I think it was something like 310 million. So when you talk about adding new connections, is there a way do you know whether or not your target audience, whether or not they're active, or do you mean you have to go to each profile to see activity? Is there a way of making that search a bit more smart?
Yes, there is, but you'll have to pay for it.
Ah,
So there's a sales navigator and the LinkedIn Premium, which is very highly priced. And it's just if you're not going all out on LinkedIn, then it's easier to just go search name by name.
right.
And in a way, I would recommend that you search name by name because you actually get to know the person better. And when you send out a customized note for invitation, you will know what to write rather than putting out a generic message.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions? Does anyone have questions on how to identify target audience or anything around it? No? Okay, then. We shall move on to the next part. Okay, so the second part is about optimizing your LinkedIn profile. I would suggest that if you have a gadget, a separate gadget, you can pull it out and sort of look at this parallelly, okay? Because this part is going to be a lot of fun. Does anyone know what profile optimization really is? if anyone knows, can quickly put in the chat box. No? Okay, so for profile optimization, right? Like how I mentioned earlier, uh, profile optimization is like this SEO of a website. Why, when I do this search, please allow me to go back to the screen again. And sorry for juggling, but I think it's best to show it to you live rather than just talking about it. So why, when I search for project management consultant, why is it that this person's per profile comes up right on the top? And why are there 100 pages? And why are these people on the first page? And why are some on the 10th? Right? Why, when we search for ICF coaches, it's the same story? Let me show it to you. Why is it that this person with her what is on top? And why are there again 100 pages? Right? But why is it that they get the first page and the others don't? There's no one who's paying for anything on LinkedIn because there are no advertisements in here. You cannot advertise your profile. You can only put out other kind of advertisements, but you cannot sort of boost your profile. The only way to boost your profile is by optimizing your profile, right? How do we do that? There are several steps to do this. So we already answered what it can do for you. Now, the whole point of doing a profile optimization is so that you get found on the search, right? So you come on the first page, because most of us, we know that we are lazy people, or when we look for something, whoever comes on the first page, those are the kind of people we contact, and we don't really go digging into fourth, fifth, sixth pages, right? And once you get found, you want that conversion. You want the person to be able to reach out to you, drop you a message. Okay, so how do you get found, and how do you measure? How do you know how many people have actually seen your profile, and how do you know how well you're doing? So to measure these outcomes, we have dashboards on LinkedIn. So if you open up on the screen on the side and you go into your own profile, you should be able to see your dashboard. Okay, so your dashboard will be right at your profile. I'm sorry for juggling once again, but I'm sure some people want to know where this is. So if you go into your profile over here and you say view profile, you scroll down over here, this is where your dashboard is, right in the front. And it's visible only to you. So you can just go back and have a look at your own dashboards. And then if you click in here further, it will show you the kind of trends, that how many people have been viewing your profile. And if you're not on a paid version, you just get the top 4 or 5 people that have viewed your profile. But if you are on a paid version of LinkedIn, it will show you much more. Now, once again, we are coaches, we are consultants. We don't really need, we are not growth hackers, we are not marketers. We don't need to go into much more detail of, who has come and viewed our profile and what they're doing and how they're doing. We just need to mind our own business kind of thing. But sort of, we just need to know our own trend without having to know what other people are doing, right? So we don't really have to pay. Now, how do you optimize your profile? There are 3 factors. You need to be searchable. That means you need to be able to come up on the first page. You need to be clickable, and you need to be approachable, right? And that's how conversions will happen. Going into detail of that, how can you be made searchable? So when you search for project management consultant, like here, this is I'm just took a screenshot to share it with you. What are the few things that you see? You definitely see the name of the person. You see the title of the person. You see the location, that's very clear, right? You see the past experience or the current experience, okay? You see a little bit of a description for some people, and for some you don't. On the screen, you don't see the descriptions. You don't see the endorsements right away, but they give you a sort of a heads up on who your shared connections are, right? So what we got to do to fix our profile is to fix these 7 steps. Make sure you get your name right, the spelling of your name right. You will be surprised to know that a lot of people spell their own name incorrectly. You need to get your title right of what you do. Location, it's best to put your present location. And your experience, also, if you can tell what you do and where you're working at, it will show up immediately on the profile. And shared connections will automatically come. So if shared connections, one thing I would like to add is that, if you are, like, say I am friends with Fernando, okay, I'm connected with Fernando on LinkedIn. If somebody is looking for me and comes and sees on the screen to say, oh, shared connection is Fernando, if they think Fernando is credible, they are more likely to connect with me. However, if they see somebody who even I don't know is a shared connection with me, and we don't know what their profile is like, we don't know what they do, my credibility will go down because of the bad or the connections that are not apt to my target audience, right? So we go back to what we talked about in step 1, where we identify the correct target audience and we identify the correct connections. So if I am a consultant and I have lots of software developers as my connections, and in these shared connections, lots of software developers show up, they don't add to the credibility of my work because they don't know, the software developers don't know what kind of work I do, right? Okay, so factor number 2, clickable. What do you mean by clickable? What makes people want to click on your profile? You need to have a good profile photo. It should be, LinkedIn is a professional, formal kind of platform. So you need to have a professional headshot, right? You need to have a clear title that reinforces what the users are looking for. So like in the previous slide just now, we saw how people's titles were laid out. So you need to be sure that your title is on point, and you need to have location. So location is, for example, someone is looking for an ICF certified coach in Thailand, right? They will want, so they can search based on the country, on the demographics. So if you put an incorrect location, you will never be clickable or you will only get the wrong contacts coming your way. Okay, and approachable. So this is just someone very random that I picked up. I did not put the name, so we will not know who it is, but it is a Mike, but what about Mike? We don't know. So anyways, this profile does not have enough endorsements, and the kind of recommendations that go with it, it just says Mike's pretty cool. So that's not the kind of recommendation that you're looking for. When you go and when you seek endorsements and skills on your profile, you would want to seek it from the right people, which is once again from the correct target audience, so that you get the correct endorsements and the recommendations. All right? So once again, the 3 factors that are used to optimize your profile are searchable, which you don't have much control, but you have to work on it. You got to be clickable and you got to be approachable, right? And the clickable and the approachable part are totally under your control. Okay? Before we move on to this part, I'll just show you my screen once again. So we are all on the same page and we know what we're talking about. Okay, so that's my profile once again. This is the photo that I'm talking about, a headshot. That's my name. I've put a PMP because I'm PMP certified and I want people to be able to search it. I've put a title of what I do. It can be multiple things so that when someone searches, I show up for multiple things. And what we just talked about is right at the bottom of the screen is the skills and endorsements. So these are the skills and endorsements. I don't have too many because I'm also quite new to LinkedIn. And I have a bunch of recommendations. right? And these are from the people who I trust and who I have worked with in the past. Okay, we go back to optimizing our profiles, and then I'll come back and show you where each thing is on the screen once again. So this is the featured part of your profile page, and many of us don't utilize this part. So the featured part essentially is it occupies about 20% of the page. So it is quite important, and it does take on quite a bit. The one that I have is definitely not perfect. Please go ahead and fix yours, make it something that you like. What ideally should go on the featured section is a call to action, which is book now, call now, buy now. So I have like a, contact me for 30-minute free consultation. Credibility. So if you have fantastic testimonials, endorsements of features, you can put them up on the featured section. Or anything that you want to boost traffic to your page will be different posts, blogs, or articles that you've written in the past, and you can just put them up in the featured. If you need help on how to add the featured profile, I will come back to that. We will go through the entire profile page together in a bit. Then we have the cover picture. So if everyone can quickly put in the chat box and tell me how many people have a different cover picture, or you just have the basic greenish grayish one that is the standardized version by LinkedIn. So if you can put in the chat box to tell, you have the green gray, the basic one, or you have something different. Okay, I see a couple basics, a couple different. Fantastic. All right, thank you so much, everyone. So it is important to have a perfect cover picture, because that's the first thing that people see once they load your profile, right? Once they click on your profile, that's the first thing that's visible. And that's the one that talks to your audience, and it adds on to your credibility, and it reflects who you are, because it is you who chose that picture. It actually reflects your personality, and the people will know whether they want to reach out to you or not by putting the correct cover picture. Okay. Now to optimize your LinkedIn profile, this is what it is. You need to get the correct cover picture. You need to work on your profile photo. You need to tell who you are and what you do, and list the services that you provide. So there is a section that says provide services. I will quickly hop back to the browser page here, and we can go through my profile together. So this is the cover picture. If anyone has any questions, please drop in the message, drop in the chat box. Okay, so this is the cover picture. This is the profile photo. That's the headline here. If anyone wants to add anything, you see this little arrow over here, the edit section. You can click on that and make changes down here. Okay, so you put in your location, make sure it's right. If you want, you can put in your profile URL, website, email, or any other information that you want to add on. Here you have two options. One is the kind of services you provide, so you can make changes over here. And if you want to hire people, you can sort of put it here as well. This is another very important section of your profile, which is the about section. So here you can write a little bit story about what you do and who you are, so people know how to reach out to you, right? Because you are talking about yourself over here. And this is the featured section that I was talking about. You can add as many as you want. I think you can go up to 5. But as you can see on my screen here, that the first 2.5 are visible. So it is highly recommended that you put your top 2 features right in the front, because this is what will actually go through the eye. And then if someone is truly interested in what you do, they can scroll further to see what the other features are, right? So it is highly recommended that the first two be the ones that you really want to talk about. And then you have your dashboard, which is visible only to you, but mine one is fortunately visible to all of you. And then you have an activity going, that what all you have done in the past few days or months. You can actually go and see all, and get into more detail, and work on your experience. So the more detail you share, the better it is. Put down all the experience that you have. You can even put in pictures to go with your experience. If you have any outstanding work that you did, you can put it up as pictures, or I think it has video capability now. And you just add in all your work experience that you've had in the past. Make sure that the keywords that you use. So for example, for me, I would like my keywords will be project management, right? I would like to repeat my keywords as often as I can, but of course not to spam the page, right? So I would use the word project management in my headline. I use the word project management in my about section over here, somewhere here, project management. And then in my experience, I use the word project management again, because that's what I do. So it is highly likely that when you search for a project management in Thailand, I should show up. But please do note that this process, not that you make your changes to your profile today and things will start turning around tomorrow. It does take a while for LinkedIn to absorb your information and start turning it out in your favor, right? Okay, let's open the floor to questions. I'm sure we have many. Please unmute yourself and ask questions.
I have a very quick one, Shveta.
Sure.
So I noticed in yours, obviously, you mentioned you've got project management, and obviously that's quite consistent in how you've shown that. Was that a conscious choice as opposed to using something like project manager? Is that as opposed to project management? I only asked because I'm sort of in a similar scenario.
No, I am a
Okay.
project management consultant, so I
Okay.
chose to do project management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shweta, a question from my side.
Yes.
So I am a user experience designer, and this particular term is known. Actually, people use it in a different manner. So some call it UX designer, some call it user experience designer, and at times it is also called product designer. So do you think that there should be a mix of all these keywords, or should I stick to one?
Stick to one. Stick to
Stick
one,
to
and
one.
stick to one.
But then isn't it that my profile will not show up when people are searching for the other terms?
That is possible, but if you want this to work like an SEO, in an SEO, that's what happens. Like, you would know better than I do. In the whole coding world, the word that you use the most often is what will show up. So you need to find out you need to find out that in your industry, what is the go-to word, and what your target audience, what do you think they will use?
Okay, got it.
Right, because you want to you are doing all this for your audience. If you think your audience will use UX designer or user experience designer or product designer, whatever you think your audience uses. So you need to do homework on your audience first.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? None? Wow. I thought this was quite a handful. Are you sure no questions, everyone? I can't be that good.
Shveta, I was just about to say, because you're such a great trainer, we understand so well.
Okay, then we move on. Okay, I go back to the screen. All right, then let's go on. So topic number 3 is content is king and engagement is queen. I'm sure we've heard of this before. Okay, right, let's go on. So do you think content is even important? Or let's rephrase it. How important do you think content is on a scale of 1 to 10? And put that in the chat box. 1 being least and 10 being the most. All right, we have a couple 8, 9s, 7s, 9s. All right. Yes, indeed. Content is very important. And why should you create content on LinkedIn? Why is it even important to create content on LinkedIn? That's because 90% of the audience, we'll just call them dead audience, even though it's not very nice to say, but 90% of the audience on LinkedIn come here to browse, to go around and see what other people are doing, okay? 6 to 8% of the people actually engage with the posts or content, which means they'll come and put in a like every once in a while. They will actually have a comment every once in a while. Or if sometimes we have recruiters who are around and they'll just come and connect with the right people they want to get in touch with, but not create any new content. The only people who actually create content are 1 to 2% of the population of the people who are on LinkedIn, right? And we want to be the cream de la cream. We want to be the top 2%. Okay? Why? By creating content, what happens is you get engagement. What I mean by engagement is that if I post something on LinkedIn and say Fernando likes it, okay? What happens with that is that my follower, Fernando, liked my content, liked my post. As soon as he hits the like button, all his followers will see that he has liked my post, which means my visibility has just gone huge. So if I have a post that, if I make a post and I have 10 likes on it, it means that each of the 10 people's profiles and their followers have seen that that person has liked my post. Okay, I'll show this to you with examples so it's more clear, right? So what can a good post do? I had a post, this is actually a few weeks ago. I took a screenshot earlier. So when I put a post online, I had 38 engagements on this post. I had 9 comments and I had 1,960 people who viewed my post. Okay, you can see that on your screen when you make a post as well. I don't know how many of you, I'm not sure how many of you actually have created posts in the past, so you can see it on your own screen. But when you make a post, what happens is each post, it will tell you how many views you've had, like this. All right, so you can have 200, 300, 1,200, 800, etc. Now the point is that if you just see from my contacts, I have 997 followers, okay? Keep that in mind, keep that parked in mind, and I will show you this. Okay, now I have 997 followers, right? But I have 1,960 views on my post. How is that possible? That's possible because if somebody likes my post, it goes up on their newsfeed. Okay, I will show it to you live in a bit. So when you create a content, there are 2 types of contents. One is when you create content for your own profile. So this is what I have done, right? So, you know, post number 1, I had 1,900 views. Post number 2 is 1,300 views. Once again, I have only 900 followers and not more. And yet my post has reached out to more people. Let me show you how this works. So what happens is, if I just go on my page over here, what happens is, let me look for a live one. So, I'm sorry, let me just, So for example, um, my contact, Hossein, celebrates this, right? Celebrates a post. This person, Merafreen, is not my friend, but I see this post because my friend or my contact has um, liked it or celebrated it. Okay, has engaged with this post. So once again, this post over here, my contact Achyut has commented on Nitin's post, and that's why this post is on my feed. So that the whole thing is that as long as there's engagement on your post, it will multiply, right? Are there any questions on this? I just want to be sure everyone understands this before we go deeper into it. Anyone has any questions on this of how the posts are viewed? Okay, there's a question. If followers and connections are the same, answer is no. They are following you and you're not following them back. Connections is when you're both following each other. All right? Okay, let's go on. Now you can create a post for other people's profile, right? So somebody had a post saying that, when I was in graduate school, I was taught, etc., etc. And then I made a post, on their profile. So they made a post and then I just had a comment on it. This is also called engagement. Okay, so you need to engage with your target audience and their content. Once you start doing it correctly, you will start seeing the correct posts as well, the ones that are that match you. And that's what it is. You need to engage with your target audience content. Please don't put stuff like random comments like good job, great post, awesome, because then we'll know that you're doing this just to gain visibility or just to be out there. But what really adds value is if you spend some time to read what they've written, because of course anyone who writes a post has put in effort into writing it up and creating that post. So spend some time reading the post and drop your valuable comments. Okay, and then you can go around liking as many posts as you can, but you have to realize that every time you like a post, your contact sphere is going to see that you have liked it. So if you see a post and you don't relate to it, but you're liking it just for the sake of it, the message that you're sending out to your contact sphere might not match your image, because you're here to create personal branding. Once again, you're here to generate leads. So what really matters is you and what you think and what you like or what you celebrate or what you engage with or what kind of post you put up. So it is highly recommended you read the posts and like what you like and put a good comment, some valuable comment. So this is an example that I commented, and I said that I loved how you shared so much information and such powerful strategies without the aid of, so it is very personalized. And you can see that in response to the personalized comment that I made, I got another personalized comment back. And that's what actually matters, right? How do you create content that goes viral? This is a very interesting question. Does anyone have any ideas on this? Please put it in the chat box. Anyone? Because I'm sure if you're posting something, you would love for it to go viral. Anyone else other than Andy? How do you make posts go viral? Okay, current news. Anyone else? Share your personal view, experience. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. The answer is there is no formula. You can kill me if you want, but there is really no formula for creating viral posts. You never know what is going to happen. And Dimple, I see you putting controversial topics. I would highly recommend against it. It could be controversial, but make sure it's not political or someone, because you do want to create a good image. The whole point of being on LinkedIn is you want to be able to share things that don't contradict other people's judgment. Okay? So this is an example. This is all what I had done. And I did a lot of experiments and I'm just sharing it with you. So the first post on the left, I talked about a robot wrote this entire article. Are you scared yet? And when I put this up, I really thought that this was a fantastic post because I was actually scared when it was a post about this AI PG3 something writing up a whole article. And I was like, wow, artificial intelligence is getting so much, is becoming so smart, is becoming smarter than human. So I actually had it was a very personal view when I put this up. But I had only 4 engagements and 1 comment on it. And you can see it was 304 views. And I was like, I didn't expect that. And then when I put a picture of a cartoon, so cartoons is better than actual real content. So I was like, oh my God, that's silly, right? And then I put another post about blue flames and blue acid lake. And that's the one I got 1,400 views for. So really, this was all for me upside down. Because when I planned it out, I actually thought it would be the other way around. I actually thought that the robot would have the highest views and would have maximum engagement because that's what I was looking for. I was actually looking for a discussion to happen. And I know that with every discussion, there's so much to learn. So I was actually looking forward to that. But it really didn't take off. And when I put up about the blue flames and blue acid, in my mind, I thought that this is something more like a post that you would probably put on Facebook, or it's so personal, it's just like a blog kind of thing. And that's the one that did the best. And cartoon, I put it just because I wanted to see what I was going to do. Has anyone had any kind of experience or any experience something similar to this before? Or if you haven't, it's also okay. Any experience? Please feel free to share. Okay, now in conclusion to what kind of post or what is it that will actually make your post go viral or will make it do very well is that consistency is the biggest growth hack. By being consistent, what actually happens is you put up 5 posts, maybe 1 will do well. You put up 10, maybe 1 will do well. You put up 20, definitely 1 will do well. So if you post say once in a week, or if you put in once in every few days, is okay. You need to find your own consistent rhythm. So people who are social media experts or are digital marketers, maybe they need to use this platform much more aggressively, right? So be it. They need to post every day, they need to post twice a day, or whatever they think that's important to them. For people like us who are coaches and consultants, we need to find our own rhythm, because if we go around posting every day and we go around, liking and commenting all the time, we will really not get to do our coaching work, or we will really not be able to do our consulting work, because this does take a lot of time. So we need to find our own consistent rhythm. If we think this is a platform that we want to put it out there and make people be able to find us, you need to have some kind of engagement going. You can pick your own consistency. You can put it at once in 2 weeks, or once in a week, or twice a week, or whatever. I see a few questions coming up. What is the right size of content or number of words? I am not sure what the maximum character count is, but we will get in the next few slides on how a good post is made. Okay, we'll get there. Any timing of the post, day or night, when people are on LinkedIn. Jigar, for that, the world is round. Everyone is working 24 hours these days. If your customer or your target audience happens to be in the US, you need to post in their time zone. And just make sure you don't post at night or in the hours that they will be asleep. But really, the truth of the matter is everyone is online all the time. And once again, for the timing of the post, I would recommend, because I have played around in the past as well. I just don't have screenshots for it. That when I was experimenting with this, um, there really is no effect because everyone is online all the time, and most of the people have notifications on their phone. So if there's something that interesting does come up, they're always looking at it. But play around with it, find your target audience and see what they like. Okay, are there any other questions before we move on? Okay, I get better response if I send in evening in India. See, there you go. Well, if this is what works in your market, then it's great. You know the answer to your own question. Let's go on. So that's where the answer is: adapt for your target audience. You have to find your target audience and adapt as per them. The first few posts, maybe you can play around, juggle around with the time, and do a different test. Say 10 a.m., noon, 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 10 p.m., whatever you want, and you find your own footing for your own post. Right? What type of content that does well on LinkedIn? So number one, stories. If you personalize it and you have a story to tell, people are interested to read. Everyone wants to know what's going on in other people's business. Everyone wants to know what's going on in your life, right? What's the other type? Case studies. So if you've done fantastically in what you do, you can come and share it as a case study. You don't have to name names because lots of the work that we do is confidential. So you don't have to name names, but you can say, for example, that I had a client who did this or who said this, and this is how I solved the problem. So again, it becomes very personalized and it's more like a story format. So people generally tend to like it. Okay, trending topics. So like Dimple mentioned earlier about controversial topics, well, let's just call it trending topics, right? Something which is in trend right now. The biggest trend of 2020 has been COVID-19. I think it has been trending since March and continues to trend till now. And we do have, I think the topic of today, which we should not talk about, is the presidential elections because that's more political. But there's always something which is in trend. It could be a trending topic in your industry. So if there's been a massive breakthrough, or somebody got promoted, or somebody did a phenomenal job, it could be the trending topic, right? One of the trending topics for LinkedIn in the past month is about LinkedIn has launched a new feature where you can share stories, like how you can do it on Instagram and Facebook. So I think that's a trending topic for LinkedIn for the past month. The next one is voice your opinion. So anything which is your personal opinion or your personal take. So like you can say LinkedIn stories. So you can voice your opinion and say that, oh, I think that the LinkedIn stories is more social media for the younger audience, more like Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So basically you can just share your opinion because that will be something that will become a conversational topic and people will want to comment on your post and then you can have something to say back to them, right? So what does a perfect LinkedIn post look like? Andy, this one is for you. So the perfect LinkedIn post. As you can see, what happens is on the left hand of the screen is what actually shows on the screen, right? When you're actually on the LinkedIn screen, this is all that you can see. So you can only see the first 4 lines and you need to use the first 3 lines really intelligently to draw the attention of the reader. And that's when the reader should click more, the see more button here. And when they do that, then they can see the entire post, right? So you need to write a post which is long enough that the reader wants to see more. The reason behind this is, once again, the algorithm of LinkedIn works in a way such that they will count your number of views by the number of see mores that have been clicked. So if your post is really short, if it's like 2 lines, what will happen is that people are just going to scroll past it and not stop to read it, because they'll just skim past your post. But if there is something which is of interest, you put that as your first 2 to 3 lines, and then you get more engagement on that post. Because if somebody really does spend the time to read such a long post, then they will definitely have something to say to you. So breaking it down to what the perfect post should look like is, the first 3 lines is the hook. You need to make people see this, and you want to be sure that people click the see more. Okay, and then you tell the story, and then you end your post with a call to action. Okay, you end it with a question. The reason for doing that is, like in this post, I said, what do you do to minimize the wastage of food? People want to contribute. People want to say what they do well, or how they help and benefit the society, right? Now, a few quick tips are, don't use bulky or long paragraphs, because most of us, you read these posts on our phone, and if it's too much wordy, too texty, then what happens is you don't want to read it, or people don't want to read it. So break it down into smaller lines, easier to read. Like I used 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in short, I had 3 key takeaways. And yeah, so break it down into smaller lines and make sure it's mobile phone friendly. Keep your language simple so everyone can understand it. Or if not simple, keep it what keep it simple enough that your target audience can understand. And most importantly is to be yourself. Because if you start using all the fancy language and you start copying other people's posts because you think it looks cool, you can't maintain that kind of copycat rhythm. So it's most important to be yourself. Now, one thing on this post, I must say, I must confess, I wrote it up. I had lots of views, lots of engagements, but it's not the perfect thing to do. I know it's contradicting because, once again, um, I am a project manager, and the post that I have put on has nothing to do with project management. It talks about planning on how to, save food and how not to let people starve, but it is not true to my target audience. So once again, you need to be yourself. You need to write posts that address your target audience. You need to write stuff that if you want to generate leads, you need to write such kind of posts that your tribe wants to read. Next tip is, do not use outside links in the post. Put them in the first comment. If you have been using LinkedIn in the recent past, you would have noticed lots of people doing that. They say there's a link in the first comment or link in the comment below and stuff like that. Okay. LinkedIn does not like it when you send people out of their platform. LinkedIn wants people to stay on LinkedIn. So when you, in your post, if you write down or if you put that, have a look at this YouTube or see this video, you put a YouTube link, it shows LinkedIn that you're driving people out of the platform. So the algorithm is smart enough to sort of dump your post down. Okay? If you don't believe me, try it. And then you can try it both ways, maybe a week apart, right? The first day you put up a post with the YouTube and see how it does. A week later, do the same thing with the YouTube link in the comment below and share with me whenever you do so what the results were like. I will be more than happy to see them, because this one I have not experimented for myself. Okay? And number 2, no sharing. right? You do not share other people's posts. And I will show you why. Here, I shared this about 3 months ago, and I thought this was a fantastic article written by my friend Michael. And what happens with this was after I shared it, I had only 62 views. For some reasons, I don't know why. I have no answer to this, but by sharing posts, you lose the reach. Your reach actually just goes downhill completely. Right? This is at about the same time where I shared, where I had a post with this one. Why about wasting food? I had 1,900 views compared to sharing somebody else's post, which had such few views. Right? Do we have any questions on this? Any questions on this? Okay, so for the content, we have, you need to pick a topic and apply the perfect post formula, which I shared previously. Use your stories, use your case studies, use the trending topics, and voice your opinion. Do we have any questions or any points of discussion on this, on the content bit? I would love to hear what you've experienced in the past. Anyone?
Yeah, hi Shveta.
Hi Rajiv, go on.
Okay, yeah, hi Shveta. Okay, I have a quick question. I'm just curious. You mentioned do not put any links in the post. Can you explain or elaborate why not?
So putting a link on the post is, for example, putting YouTube link. What happens with that is LinkedIn wants you to stay on LinkedIn. When you put, say, for example, a YouTube link, what happens is you're driving people out of LinkedIn, or you're driving your audience outside of the platform, out of the LinkedIn platform. So LinkedIn doesn't like that, and it kills the reach of your post or any other link on the outside. So I will show you live on what I have done. Okay, just to give you, I don't have a before and after to share, but I can just show you what I have done.
I would like to add here.
Sure.
Yeah, can we add a website or any other link?
No.
No?
Sorry?
Can we add other than YouTube, maybe website link or?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So see, for example, this is a post I put 2 days ago, and I said sign up link in the comment below, right? So even though I want people to sign up, it will be easier for them to find it on top, like in the post. It will be hard for them to find it. So I got the sign up link over here at the bottom in my comment. Cool. So when you share the link in your post, you tend to lose the reach. I'm sorry, just scrolling down through all my posts if I can find something, because I don't have a screenshot of the experiment that I've done. You can put up photos like this if you want, right? But make sure the photos are organic and you're not posting them from another link. So this one also is an organic post, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't find. See, even this one, I put the link in the comment, but I only put a picture up there. See, I put the link in the comment, right? It can be linked to anywhere. It doesn't matter. Okay? You can try and experiment because there really is nothing to lose by experimenting. I mean, if one post doesn't do well, it's not the end of the world, right?
But do people go and check in the comment box?
Yeah, if your post is interesting, they will check the comment box. If you've written out your content nicely. And once again, I am talking a lot about numbers, But I do want to put a heads up a little bit that it's not all about the numbers. It is about having the correct profile. It's about having, what's more important is having the correct profile, having it optimized so people reach out to you for who you are. So what you should post, that it is a quite a everything that you put online, not just LinkedIn, but on any platform online, on the internet, you're leaving behind a digital footprint. So you want to be sure that you're putting good stuff. No, it doesn't matter that it does well in terms of numbers, but that's what shows your character, and that's what you want people to know you for. So you could have, like, 200 views, or you can have 60 views, or you can have 8,000 views. What really matters is what matters to you, rather than, those numbers. Those numbers are a benchmark, but, I don't want to be too stressed out about it.
Can I ask something, Shveta?
Yes.
From what I understand, is like show up, just express who
Yes,
about
visibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's creating something that can lead you to a certain outcome, but rather
Correct.
than show up and show your values or
Correct.
yourself. Okay.
Yes, don't lose yourself in the process. That's why I was, in the previous page, I said that, be yourself. I think that's the most, be your authentic self. I think that's the most important. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Anything else on this, guys?
Yes, I'm Shweta, but won't LinkedIn catch on if you start posting links in the comments? Won't they catch on that and then start maybe building up on that and just start removing your, not removing, but then not giving your post enough exposure when they see you post too many links in the comments?
That's a very good one, Dimple. I am sure that will happen in the future, and it may be in the near future. And once again, guys, LinkedIn is owned by LinkedIn. So they own the algorithm, and they have the right to change it whenever they want without even informing us. So they can catch on it, and they can change it. And when that happens, we will find a way around it. For now, enjoy what it is. Are there any other questions or comments? No, are we good? Okay, so we do have time, and I will share with you some extra tips, which are not part of the 3 steps that I promised. So this is some extra giveaways. What is outbound messaging? When we were going a little bit off topic, when we reach out to people, how do we do the outbound messaging, right? When I talked about personalizing your message, how do you do it? How do you do it in a way such that it doesn't sound like spam? There are 3 factors. As I mentioned, personalization, right? You need to personalize your connecting message. Find something in common, find what they like, what you like about them, and what they like, what you think they will like about you. Number 2, money is in the follow-ups. If you don't hear from them, say over a week or 5 days, 1 week, 10 days, feel free to follow up, because people are busy and not everyone is going to listen to what everyone has to say. Number 3 is the multi-touch point. I'll get to the multi-touch point, but I will just show you the importance of personalization on my screen. Okay, here we go. So here in my network, right, there are all these people that asked to connect with me. I have pending invitations over here, right? Now, if you notice, I have so many pending invitations. If there is no personalized message, I don't know why they're reaching out to me or what I can help them with or what they can help me with, right? If I don't know you and we don't have a common connection, it is highly likely that I'm not going to connect with you. So I have multiple pending messages, multiple pending invitations, because I don't know what they want out of me, right? And if I don't know what they want out of me, I don't know if they are my true target audience, and therefore I will not connect with them. And this is true to me too, not just anyone ago. So the top few ones just came in just now, so I think I would just ignore them. But if you look at the older ones, now also, if you see, I'm sorry to put people on the spot. Please, I hope no one is really looking or will use this against me. But if you see, I got this message saying that we help organizations with branding, digital marketing, lead sourcing. He's making a sale in the first message that he's sending to me, right? I know I don't want this, so I will not connect, or I will not accept his connection, right? So personalize and make sure that it's true to yourself, true to your values, and it is what it is. Okay. So personalization, what can you do to increase the acceptance rate? Okay. By personalizing, find something in common. You can tell them where you found them or where you met them. If you met them at a networking event, or you found them on, in your search, or you talk about the contents that they put up, right? So if they made a post, you can actually go and write a personalized message and tell them that, hey, I liked what you posted, and we can have a discussion on it, and I have the same line of thoughts as you, and stuff like that, etc. So this is one of the messages that I got, where it was a sale on the first go, so I sort of ignored it. And then I had another message that came in. This is also a connection invitation. And this one was totally personalized. It was really long and it was all personalized, saying that, hey, Shveta, I'm reaching out to you as part of a team producing a TV documentary. You're an entrepreneur. And she knew exactly what I do and knew exactly what she wanted to write to me for. So, of course, I went ahead, accepted her invitation. We became friends. We talked over Zoom, and she happened to be in Thailand. So we even met over a cup of coffee. And where did she find me? Via LinkedIn. Right? Number 2, follow up. How can you follow up? You can do a simple thank you for connecting if they connect with you. Yeah. Or you can send them another message and say, hey, I'm waiting for you. Or, did you get my previous message, and stuff like that. Number 3 is the multi-touch point. So the multi-touch point is about what can you do on LinkedIn. You can connect with them. If they don't accept your connection request for whatever reasons, you can follow them. You can endorse them, because if you are looking up at someone, if you think that they are the best, if you think, for example, Fernando is the best, you can go and endorse them, because once you endorse them, a notification will go onto Fernando's screen. You can like the posts that they share, or you can even comment on their posts. So the more touch points you have, the more visible you are to the person you want to connect with, right? And then they will see credibility in you, and visibility is all that actually matters. And if I remember correctly, I read somewhere not too long ago that you require minimum of 8 touch points for a person to actually remember you, because you're a stranger. So it works the same way as for other advertisements and other marketing as well. If you're on LinkedIn, you're here to either generate leads or to build personal brands. And it is, if you are doing personal branding, which means you are marketing yourself, so you need to have at least 8 touch points for someone to remember that you exist. Okay? And if you have any questions, I will take them now before I tell you what is the final key takeaway on how to make LinkedIn work for you. I do see there are a few questions in the chat box. Experience of conversion into the business leads and the revenue. What are your words of wisdom? Well, experience of conversion, I have been, like I said in the start of this workshop, that I have started using LinkedIn properly in the optimized way only about 3 months ago. And I've been doing a lot of experiments, and I have not been doing I have not been following the perfect guideline, because I just found it fun to play with the algorithm and to actually see things for myself. So conversions in terms of revenue, I have had 2 projects so far that I have taken on from LinkedIn in the past 3 months. And I have had a few more, like I just showed you in the past few screen, where I have been invited to be a part of a documentary and also been invited to be a guest speaker at a podcast. And I have had other stuff, which is not exactly revenue, but it is about brand building. And is it worth going for the paid version? I have not paid because I don't see the value in it. So I don't know if there are any other additional functions. The one additional function that I do know of is where somebody had asked earlier to say that if you want to see if someone has been active, rather than going down profile by profile, they have that in the paid version, they have that option to actually click on it to say that someone who has been active in the past 3 messages, in the past 30 days or something like that. Okay, another question. Is tagging other connects in messaging recommended? You could tag other connects, but don't spam, because LinkedIn is a professional platform. You don't want to tag 20 people, and by tagging way too many people, you really don't get the reach. I have experimented with that before as well. And there was one place where I tagged about 10 people. The reach was not as much as I tagged 2 people. So just, yeah. Okay, then there's a question from Dimple. Curious to know why some people pay to choose to hide their name and just be known as LinkedIn member. Well, I don't know why they do that. If they're on LinkedIn and they want to be hidden, then there is really no point on being on LinkedIn. Yeah, are there any other questions? Please feel free to unmute so we can actually have a discussion around it. Do we have any other questions? Anyone? Okay, then we go on. So how to really make LinkedIn work for you is very simple. Execution. You need to execute what we just talked about. Go back, work on your profile optimization. Before you do that, make sure you have your target audience sorted. Clean up your profile, clean up your connections, and start writing posts. I will be sharing a workbook with you. Basically, it's a summary of everything that we just talked about, but in a shorter version. And it's basically telling you what kind of tasks you need to accomplish. And I can send that over to you. We still do have 30 minutes, and I am open for questions or anything. If you want to have a sneak peek at my profile, feel free to let me know. I will be happy to do so. In the meantime, while we ask and answer questions, I will be very grateful if you can complete a short survey so that I can share. I have your email address and I can share the top tips document with you. Okay, Jigar, you asked, how many posts ideally in a day? You need to talk to your target audience, Jigar. You need to figure out what you would want, what your target audience would want. And if your target audience are really online every day. Like I mentioned before, the digital marketers, growth hackers, they need to be online every day because that's their job. But for coaches and consultants and people like us, we cannot afford that kind of time. Right? Is there any other questions? Or if anyone has any experience that they think did really well and would like to share it with all of us? None? How about recommendations? I want somebody to talk. How about recommendations? Any recommendations for me to improve or change the way or delivery? Do you think the content was enough or was it too much? Any kind of feedback? Oh my God, we have a very quiet group of people.
Hi, I'll speak. I thought it was extremely useful, Shveta. I didn't know anything about LinkedIn, so I've learned an enormous amount in the past 90 minutes, and it's been very clear, and it's been very concise, and it's been extremely informative for somebody who's a complete beginner.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Shveta, this is Peter. For me, just to build on that, it's the opposite. I thought of myself, I knew quite a bit of LinkedIn and I use it quite a lot, but I just have a great amount of things to get working on tomorrow morning. It was really stuff I didn't know. The thing about not putting the link in the message is typically something in the post, something I do all the time. And it just, I learned so much. I'm really happy I joined. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Peter. Yeah, guys, fill in the short survey so that we have, I will know who all to send the document out to, the workbook. Do we have any other comments, any other feedback?
Yeah. Hi, Shweta. So I think, I mean, I'm the kind of LinkedIn user. I just click connect to whoever, comes up, whoever, sends me an invitation. So I think what I really sort of like a takeaway was that you mentioned don't connect to everybody, be a little more focused, be a little more selective in who you select to be as your connection. I think that's something that I need to think about a little bit more. I think that's a very healthy, very good approach. And also I like the fact that you mentioned a few times is be yourself. Yeah, it's a platform for your personal branding. And even if it's not directly for LinkedIn, I think it makes you think, what is your personal branding? Even across other platforms, when you meet people, face to face, I think it makes you think. So I think I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much, Shweta.
Yes, thank you. So just to share my personal experience, when I did the exercise of cleaning my profile, I had more than 1,000 contacts on my profile. And when I went through them one by one, and I was down to close to 600. And then now I'm gradually building it back up, but only with the correct target audience. So I actually deleted about 40% of the connections that I had that were not relevant to my profile. So feel free to do the same. It's nothing, you just have to be sure that it is relevant. The people that you have on your profile are relevant. Does anyone have any other questions or about anything about the entire presentation? If you want to have a look at my screen for anything, I'll be happy to share it with you. Okay, I see a question from Viviana, where if we are coaches, we make friends with coaches on LinkedIn. Is it good? Well, if that's your target audience, then it's very good. You need to be able to answer that question first. Are other coaches your target audience? Yes or no?
No.
For me personally, I'm a consultant and I do jobs or I do projects with other consultants. So we actually hold hands and work on it together. So for me, it is a mix. I need other consultants on my profile as well. And I also need my target audience, my customers. So it's up to you. You need to define your target audience first. It's different for everyone.
But it could be that their audience will be the same audience with me, other coaches.
Oh well, you can have your own specializations, if I'm not wrong. So if you are a coach, there's some people who are business coaches, There's some people who are life coaches, or some people who are coaches to children or parental coaches. So your target audience, I'm sure, will vary if you go deep enough.
Hi, hello. Thank you. I really, I came late and then 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and I could find your session was very effective and valuable for me as a coach, new coach, and at the same time financial educator. And I'm not using LinkedIn, so thank you for waking me up that I have found the professional platform for me to inform my audience, my target audience. And thank you so much, by the way. I already answered the survey, and there you go. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fernando and Venus.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Shveta,
I'm
Shveta,
more questions. Yes.
Shveta, Anirudh there. Sorry to come back a little late. I have a question here. I heard you saying bringing other social media platforms or links on LinkedIn is not recommended. How about otherwise? How about otherwise to build your reach? You taking your LinkedIn profile into other platforms which are very popular, widely used, like Insta or maybe Facebook. How is that? Does that work?
I have no idea. I'm so sorry, but I don't. Because I only learned, I'm only sharing my experience with you. I am not a growth hacker. I am not a LinkedIn guru, but I learned this for my business because I was looking for clients and I didn't know how to do it. And I turned to LinkedIn, and then I, learned I just invested a lot of time in it and took up lots of classes and courses. And this is what I figured. And then I played around with it until it worked for me. So I'm only sharing what worked for me.
Okay.
So I have not done what you mentioned, so I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? I'll be happy to take them. Does anyone else have anything else to share? If not, then we can wrap up this session a little early. Yeah, all right. Fernando, what do you say?
Thank you very much for that. That was very informative, and I'm so happy to hear that those who made time to join today gained something out of this. And yeah, that's I have listened to this presentation before, and I have unlearned and relearned. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Fernando, for this opportunity, for allowing me to share what I've learned with everyone. I really appreciate it.
Shweta, I also have a question. If any of these individuals who are joining today, as well as those who may be watching your video later, if they needed some help from you, do you do any LinkedIn consultation one-on-one that you can help them? Or is there anything like that?
I'll be happy to help them, of course. If they can find me on LinkedIn, of course, right? And then we can do a one-on-one consulting.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Shweta?
I would just like to say thank you to you, Fernando, and to Ignite Global for giving me this platform to share what I have learned.
Wonderful, Shweta. Thank you very much. And we are really honored to have you. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and being so honest, dainty, and very clear, and also very informative. Really appreciate it. And also, everyone who showed up today, thank you very much. Stay tuned. We will be sharing wonderful upcoming webinars in the upcoming months, and look forward to see you again. And have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shweta.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ignite.
Thank you and good night. Shweta, let me open my video. It's okay. Now you know, I was about to say like I even commented. I just finished.